I want to talk a little bit more about that magic and Whitney's last album in particular, because there's a song on it called I Didn't Know My Own Strength that is my absolute favorite.
Isn't it great?
I love it. And it's almost autobiographical. It's her comeback song. Want to know what it was like in the studio at that time producing her.
It was 100% autobiographical. For those of you that don't know, this was maybe 6 months before she passed away. She made an attempt to make a record. Unfortunately, her voice was not what it once was, and we all know the story. I'm not talking out of turn. But we did our best with that song, but she struggled to try and get a great vocal. But the song was written by Diane Warren, called I Didn't Know My Own Strength. Truly was autobiographical, and that's why Whitney loved it so much, because it was her story about I think I can come back, and tragically she didn't. But the best part about those recordings were the board broke down, the recording desk, and we sat at the piano and did Earth, Wind. When she found out I had worked with Earth, Wind & Fire, she was like, let's do some Earth, Wind & Fire songs. For 3 hours, we sat at the piano and did Earth, Wind & Fire songs.
I love
Me and
that.
Whitney.
Love that story.
If somebody had a camera at that moment, it would have been so great, but it's in here, for sure.
Love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So, you have multiple Emmys, you've got Grammys, you've got Oscars, but you're a man...
I have no Tony.
Exactly. You're a man on a mission. You want the EGOT. So
I do.
You do. So why is this so important? Why is this a milestone that you really want to achieve?
Well, I mean, getting the EGOT, getting the Tony is just sort of symbolic of my next move, which is I want to be on Broadway. I have 4 musicals in the works, but they're not Broadway musicals because they're not on Broadway yet, so can't lie about that. But I'm working hard on them, and I truly believe that one of them will get to Broadway, and then we'll have to see about the Tony. It's just, you know, you got to keep moving the goalpost in your life, and I've always moved the goalpost when I get close. I'm moving it way out there now, thinking about a Tony and a hit Broadway musical.
I think it's achievable.
Love that. Oh, yeah.
We've been talking everything about your professional life, but on a personal note, you just got married this past summer.
I did?
You did, to Catherine Whitney. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, in the documentary, you're actually really candid about your life, but I'm curious to know even if privacy is a thing that even exists any longer in the 21st century, but personally, what are the lines that you choose not to cross?
Well, you know, my wife, Catherine McPhee, is very savvy media-wise, much more savvy than me. She was on Smash for 2 years. She was on Scorpion for 4 years. She's done a lot of television. She was an American Idol alum when she was very young. That's when I first met her 14 years ago. She's done Broadway, Waitress. So she really is more media savvy than me. And she sort of showed me, like, what works and what doesn't. And we try to stay as private as we can. We know there's a big age difference. That's like the big elephant in the room. But you know, honestly, for relationships, and for, I assume some of you are married, if not all of you, there's 10 things, or anybody in the audience, there's 10 things that can bring you down in your relationship. It could be infidelity, it could be in-laws, it can be money, it can be sex, it can be, there's so many things that can ruin a relationship. An age difference is just one of them. If we have everything else right, which we feel we do, then that's not going to break us up. You know?
Love that. Okay, David, your doc is called Off the Record. So we want to ask you some rapid fire questions right now, off the record, okay? So question number 1, what is your
Sex.
What is your favorite track that you've ever produced? Maybe you produced a song called Sex.
I got to say, you know, when I co-wrote After the Love Is Gone for Earth, Wind & Fire, I know it was a long time ago, but winning that first Grammy was just kind of like
What a song.
Yeah, it was
What
a
a song.
pretty sexy song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your best memory of Whitney Houston?
Well, that Earth, Wind & Fire moment.
Yeah.
Again, Earth, Wind & Fire. But those 3 hours at the piano when it was just us, nobody else around, and really getting to know her. Because I didn't know her that well, even though I had worked with her, with Preacher's Wife and Bodyguard and duets with Enrique. And I had done a lot of work with her, but never really got to know her. So that was a defining moment for me. And then 6 months later, she was gone. So I really hold on to that moment.
You really transformed the lives of Mr. Buble, Michael Buble, as well as Josh Groban.
Yes.
So if there was a sing-off, who would win?
Oh
my gosh.
You know, Michael Bublé does very quickly, he used to do a rag on Groban in his concert. And so when they were doing a PBS special, I lined it up so that he would be ragging on Groban, and I had Groban come out while he was ragging. If you ever get a chance to watch it on YouTube, it's funny as heck. But I would say they both would think they would win. They're both great artists, and I feel lucky to be part of their lives. And Buble, of course, is a great Canadian icon, and he travels the world, packing arenas everywhere. And if you've ever seen his show, Michael Buble's
Yes.
show,
Yes.
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we love him and everything about him. He's a great friend.
Okay, we might already have the answer to the next question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Your favorite Canadian musical act of all time? I know.
Oh, that's hard.
Well, I could really date myself and say Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, because I think they're beyond iconic. But of late, let's just all be proud. Let's all be proud of Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber, and Drake, and The Weeknd. I mean, come on.
Yes.
We're leading the pack. We're not following anymore.
You're so right.
We're leading.
You're so
With
right.
just those four, and then throw in Buble, and then throw in the girl. Who's the girl?
Alessia
Alessia
Cara.
We're leading the pack. And then let's just throw in Bianca, the tennis player, while we're at it.
Yeah.